Hey guys, it's Monday. Let's make some sawdust. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. I want to just get this thing knocked out, and I'm always loving when I can start early Monday morning and carving. And it is early in the morning. It's not Monday here. It's Monday where you are at, but it's early. Anyway, all right. So here's the deal. First things first. The rest of all of this carving I'm going to do with the 60-degree bit. So that's the one I normally leave in my rigid. And again, I don't know if I put any paste wax on, is that what it's called? Paste wax, yeah. On the base yet. This is what I'm using, in case you guys didn't know, this is what I'm using these days via Izzy Swan. Finally, I took his advice and started using this paste wax. Actually, I put that on my table saw. I love this stuff. This stuff is terrific. I don't know why it took me decades to figure that out. But anyway, so if you guys haven't tried this stuff, and you can imagine this can is probably going to last, how much? I don't even know how much this can costs. This thing's probably going to last 2-3 years using it every day. So anyway, that's done. Now, let me show you what's going on here in this area. If you go back and watch Friday's video when I was carving this knot, I don't know whether it shows up or not, but this little piece right here was loose. I was checking it out after I got done with this carving, and this thing was loose. So what I did was I put some of the thick Star Bond in there, down in that where it was loose on this side, and I just let it set. I didn't use the accelerator because it sat overnight, and it's solid as a rock now, so it ain't going nowhere. And this piece never was really loose when I was carving it. So anyway, I wanted to kind of explain that a little bit. So here we go. I'm gonna start and do the background, so to speak, or the inside of all these letters. The first part of it, if you guys watched Friday's video, was done with the profile bit. Now I'm going to use a 60. Normally on background I would use the 90, but when I've got kind of tight spaces, like in some of the places in here, I'll use the 60 because it gives me a little bit more texture that way. Oh, that better? Mm-hmm. I don't think I'm set quite deep enough. Let me drop this down just a little bit. That looks about right. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's plug it in. Why not? Keeps me from having to turn this thing really fast. Here we go. Alright guys, I don't know if you caught that, but I actually nicked at the very beginning, I nicked this part of the K over here. So I'm going to take my profile bit and I'm going to trim that up, hopefully. So the thing about this Redwood, it cuts really soft, cuts really easy, but sometimes there's some soft, hard spots, and this bit really kind of needs to be sharpened. But anyway, all right, so I'm going to plug this in because it wasn't plugged in. The depth should still be set where it was. Now let's trim that up. All right, now I am gonna jump up here and do one of these bears real quick like. Let me see. I'm gonna keep it the same depth as what I've got, but because it's you've got a couple little tight areas, you'll see me kind of lift my router base a little bit to get those ears and that nose. Okay, so something I want to mention here. You guys probably, if you go back and watch that really close, you'll see that I varied my depth a lot of different places when I came down into the feet and all that. Remember, guys, and I've said this several times before, this 60-degree bit will do some really fine detail if you want it to. I've carved, letters an eighth of an inch tall with this 60-degree bit. So you don't absolutely have to have a profile bit in order to carve, or even the SC50 to carve some pretty fine detail. Each bit has its own characteristics, but if I had to pick one bit and one bit alone, that if you had to pick just one bit, this 60-degree bit would be the one that I would pick because it allows you to do so many different things. Now, normally in an area this big, I would use the 90. But since I had it in there and I wanted this texture to kind of match the texture in here, the thing that you have to remember though, if you're doing an area like this, is keep your circular motions really, really small. If you make them big like they are on the 90, then you'll have a lot of high spots. Anyway, all right, so we're going to come back. I'm going to reset the depth. I'm going to do this bare off camera. And then when we come back, we'll reset the depth and we'll do these small letters. All right, so I got the other bear done. Now I'm going to carve some letters here. I've reset my bit. You guys are going to want to know depth on that, I'm sure. So for these little letters, I think I'm going to be around an 1/8. Actually, a little deeper than an 1/8, almost 3/16. Okay, all right. Here we go. Oops, wrong way. All right, folks, so I am going to go ahead and finish the rest of these letters up off camera. Then when we come back, we'll get this thing all brushed, sprayed, sanded off, and see what it looks like. Oh, by the way, I forgot, and you didn't remind me. This little bear silhouette, that is going to be the template of the month for November. So I don't know why it took us so long to do that bear, because I've done it many times, just done it with artwork. So anyway, for you premium members in November, that template, that bear template, is going to be the one you get for free. Anyway, and it'll be on the website by the time you guys see this. It might be on the website already, I'm not sure. Anyway, it will, I'm sure, according to the Queen. All right, guys.
A little early for the Queen to be thinking.
Yeah, it's early in the morning. Not enough coffee. All right, we'll be right back. All right, folks, all the carving is done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stiff bristle brush and just really brush the heck out of it, and then blow it at the same time. Anyway, so I'm going to finish that process up, making sure I get out all of the... Why do I do that? Because I want to make sure all of that sawdust gets out of there, that isn't going to come out after I spray it black, and then I'm going to end up with a white spot. So I'm going to finish that. We'll come right back and we'll spray and sand. All right. Okay, guys. So I am now spraying this. You guys have seen me do this, I don't know, what, 100 times? Probably. Nothing different. I'm using the primer. Remember, just primer, not primer/paint. I don't want to overspray, but I want everything covered pretty well. And I had a couple spots in here where there was a little, just little parts that I didn't want black to get down into. I don't think it's going to be any major thing, but I just covered them up with tape just to make sure. Make sure all those grooves get sprayed. All right, guys, I'll finish up the spray and we'll come back and sand. All right, guys, I've already sanded the back. That's what I always do first. And I sanded it with my rough belt, my 40 grit. And then on here, I'm going to sand 40 and then go back with the, I think it's 120 grit here. So here we go.
Are you going to come around here?
I think I'll just stand right here and do it. I think I can do it this way. Okay, so let's spray this thing off, get this sawdust off here and see what this thing looks like. See if we've got any high spots. Here we go. Not bad. Yeah. One of the things I really like about the Redwood, guys, is it sands so nice. Now I may go back because of little things like this. I may go back with the orbital and just hit it with the 220 or something like that with the orbital sander. But I haven't decided. I'm going to check it out a little bit more, and then we'll come back and we'll get a finish on this thing. Okay, folks, I was going to put the finish on this thing, but then I noticed this little defect. I've got a kind of a little split here that's opened up. It's not a crack because it doesn't go clear to the end. It just probably has something to do with kind of the continuation of this knot area. Anyway, so I'm just going to mix a little bit of glue and sawdust and try and patch that up. Then I'll have to let that dry. Let that dry and then come back and sand it, and then we can put the finish on it. All right, let's see if I can make this work here. I want it to go clear down in there. All right, I think that's about it. I'm gonna let that set for a few hours until it's good and dry. Then we'll come back and sand it, see how it comes out. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Hey, guys, we're back. So, the repair that I did on this with the sawdust and the glue, I really didn't like the way it looked. So I fixed it. I did something different. I actually dug it all out with my pocket knife to make a groove again. And then I mixed some of the Star Bond thick with the same sawdust and put in there, and I like it much better. In fact, if you didn't know that that was a repair, you'd think it's just one of these other grain lines. So I'm really happy with the way that worked, and it was a really fast dry. I had to play around with it a little bit to get the mixture right, so it would stay thin and go down in there. But then I sanded it off, and it's good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a finish on it. I'm using the Czar polyurethane, but I'm using the Critter Gun. I've got the Czar and the Critter Gun in the liquid, but this is the same stuff in a spray can. So anyway, I've already coated the back. I've got my compressor at about 50 pounds, something like that. So I'm going to do the front, and then I'll set. Normally I do the edge first, but I'm going to do, for sake of demonstration, I'm going to do the front first, and then pick it up and put it on its back, and then do the edge. So I'll probably end up putting, at least 3, maybe 4 coats on this thing. Looks like so what I'll do is I will sand the surface of this in between the coats. Looks like my sprayer may be spitting just a little bit. Spitting some chunks there. I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe some leftover stuff in the hose, in the tube. Anyway, it won't really matter because I'm going to hand sand that with some real fine 220 in between. So there it is. I won't take that out of there. I won't show the rest of the finish. It'll have probably 3 more coats on it. But there it is, guys. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, email me, eric@makeawoodsign.com, and we will have more videos coming. You guys are seeing this on Monday. Yeah, you guys are seeing this on Monday. On Wednesday, we're going to have a couple success stories. Actually 3 different success stories, all different kinds. And I think you guys might get a lot out of that. There's some really good marketing ideas in there as well. So anyway, guys, hope you're having a great day. Thanks again for watching. We love you all. If you can subscribe, we'd love it. And don't forget to click that little bell icon. And again, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Have a great one, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.